Hey everybody, welcome to the garage of notorious B.O.B. And today we're going to be installing some floorboards on a Honda CTX700. So before we get started, I want to show you kind of what's some of the reasoning here. I bought these Karyakyn mini floorboards, and they're about 4 inches in length to try those out. So I swapped out, originally I swapped out just the factory pegs for these floorboards, and I really like them. But I thought, as I do more long distance travel, that a longer floorboard might give me some more options. And so I chose for the regular size floorboard, and these are about 8 inches in length. So you can see how much more space that you'll have to put your feet in different positions. The cool thing about these boards too is that if you look here, many different mounting positions. They also flip up. So this middle part will allow you to flip the board up this way. You know, it gives you some leeway if you're taking tight corners. And so I'm going to replace the mini boards with the full size boards, and then I'm going to take those mini boards and move them back to the passenger side. So I'm going to swap out the passenger pegs here and put those mini boards. That way the passenger can be more comfortable with their foot position. So first things first, we're going to remove the mini boards here. That's relatively simple to do, and I'll show you how to do that. But it's really little. If you look on the bottom side here, it's one bolt that's attached to the spline adapter. So we'll remove that, and literally we'll just replace it with that. So the install for the bigger boards will be simple. And then when we get to the rear here, I'll sort of talk us through that install. So I'll be back. All right, so now you can see the front board has been installed, and it's relatively simple. It just went on. I attached to the spline adapter that I had already mounted from the mini boards, and as you can see, these boards just flip up. In case, I don't know if you'd ever want to really do that, but it gives you the option, and it gives you play this way for curbs, and same thing here, right? So there's plenty of leniency, but they click back in place, so plenty of foot room, plenty of clearance for the shifter here. So now in the back, we removed the peg, and you can see on the factory peg what they call like the spline, or the spline adapter, is attached to the peg itself. And so all we had to do was then order a spline adapter, which is this part right here, and it just goes in place of where the old peg mounted. And this allows you to then mount the floorboard directly to the adapter like this. So there's a couple things you can do with this particular setup. As you remember, the factory peg could move up and down this way. So the spline adapter is set up to do the exact same way. I can choose to have it go up and down, but the problem is with a mini board attached, there was it wouldn't fold in all the way, and it certainly wouldn't stay up. And I could try it this way, and it didn't really do much. So I chose to keep the spline adapters just in a static position, meaning they're not going to move. That way, they're not rattling around, and the reality is I like the look of them there anyways. So in order to accomplish that, I'll show you what the manufacturer did. So here's the spline, and you'll see on the back side here that there are these two threaded holes, one here and one here. And what you do is you screw this bolt into one side, and then you screw the smaller bolt into the other side of the adapter right here, which again goes against the frame. And on this side allows you to access that with an Allen key. And so once you get them threaded in place, you put this against the bike, and then you just tighten or loosen each side to make sure then that it pushes the bolts up against the frame, and that's how you come up with a static mount system. So that's what I've chosen to do, and I'll show you that on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a couple things that come with the spline adapter kit. So you can see here's the hole of this one, and this was the cotter, or this is the bolt that the cotter pin attaches to from the spline. You can see with the factory one, you can see how much play there is in there. So Karyakyn was kind enough to send these, they're called inserts, I guess. They're calling them spacers. So spacer, I put the spacer in there, which then when I put this bolt in there, it gives it a nice a nice snug fit. So that's pretty handy. All right, so what I was talking about earlier is, here's, on this side, this is the side that faces the frame. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take these bolts, this particular small one, and you're just gonna thread it into this hole here, like so. And then you'll take the longer bolt and do the same thing here. All right, so it basically looks like this. So now I'll just take my Allen key and then thread it through. Basically, I'm like reverse threading it. You can see what's happening is now it's getting shorter and shorter at the side at which it's going to be, you know, butt up against the frame. And so I'm just going to bring this in relatively close here. Voila. And then I'll do the same with this other one. So you can see it just fits right through. Again, I will thread it back. You're basically threading it back into the spline adapter itself, like so. So now it looks like this, and we're ready to go. All right, so I will show you then how easily this installs. All right, so we're back. So now you can see that this literally just, well, I need to put the spacer in first. So I guess I should have probably done that first. All right, so I'm gonna put the spacer in, like so. Now, just take the spline adapter, and I'll just set it there. And then I'm gonna put the bolt through here, and then we'll secure it in place. All right, so I'm gonna just finish putting that bolt through there. There it goes. Okay, so before I put the washer and a cotter pin back on, I'm gonna just show you how. So you can see right now, this for me that would get on my nerves, because you know you're gonna hear that. And it really doesn't serve a purpose, because it can't really fold up all the way in here, especially with the floorboard on. So again, that's why I chose to do a static mount. So now I'm going to just take my Allen key, and maybe we'll do the larger one first, back there. And then you're going to just tighten it. And you can see it's starting to, as I tighten it changes the position of the spline. So I'm just going to try to get it relatively flush, like about there. Then I'll take the smaller one and do the same. So I've tightened that pretty good, and now you can see it won't go anywhere. So now that's basically the static mount. All I have left to do is place the washer back underneath, and then run the cotter pin through, and then attach the floorboard to the adapter with the one bolt that it comes, and then we're done. I'll show you the finished product once I'm done. All right, so there's the finished product on the passenger. So you can see it's static, very solid. It's not going anywhere. And the cool thing about these is you can adjust the positioning up and back. So if I show you the bottom here, you can see there's 3 mounting holes, so you can put it up and back depending on, you know, how much comfort or how much leg room you need, meaning how far forward or back you want your feet. So together they look like this. Back one is static, front one has options to flip up and to move like that. So that's pretty much it. It's really simple. Again, that's the 8-inch floorboard, and this is the 4-inch mini board, both from Karyakin. Relatively easy to install. So yeah, overall pretty happy. Looking forward to getting out there and riding to see you know, how that feels and what options it presents to me, especially for those longer rides. So hey, I appreciate you joining me. Once again, this is from the garage of notorious B.O.B. I want you to go out there, ride, and be safe. We'll talk to you soon.